guys, subscribe, push the like button right now, hit that notification bell, and we are going to go over the Marleen case and what's going on with her. So Marlene Ochoa Lopez, as you know, she is no longer here. She answered the ad to this woman on the right. Her name is Clarissa. She offered Marlene a free stroller and baby clothes. Marlene went over to her house and she never come back out. Now, it took a while for police to figure this out, but people didn't understand how it took police so long. Because Marlene went missing the same day that this 46-year-old claimed that she gave birth to a baby and come running out of her house, screaming the baby wasn't breathing. They called 911. The baby was taken to the hospital, where the hospital staff actually wiped the blood off her upper body, which makes no sense. They did an examination. They realized she had not given birth, but for 14 days, over 2 weeks, they did not report the fact that she did not give birth to this baby. But they're trying to point the blame at the hospital, and there's no way to really point the blame. They probably should have had an investigator come in, but it's hard to know because they could have said, well, maybe she was lying and her daughter had it. There are things that happen in life that people don't understand. Anyways, this family were imposters. They were in the ICU with the baby, claiming the baby that they took from the missing mother's womb was theirs. As you can see here in this picture, one of them are holding the baby. Police finally figure out, put two and two together, that baby in the hospital did not belong to that family, but belonged to Marleen Ochoa Lopez, the missing teenager last seen leaving the Latino high school in the area. Her mother was very devastated for the fact that that family was able to claim that baby for so long, knowing that they knew the 46-year-old did not give birth to it. And right now, they're kind of blaming the hospital. And they're upset that they were able to be there making the calls over the baby, over the true family. So it's been quite a mess. The family's been, severely upset with how things have gone, which is to be expected. So Clarissa is now behind jail bars. She's in jail along with her daughter Desiree and her boyfriend. And if you want to know details on how this coming back, you can refer to my older videos, because this one is just kind of giving you a recap, and I'm gonna update you of where we're at right now. As you know, Marlene's husband and their other child that they've had together, they are now without Marlene, and he has really taken this hard. But somehow, according to some articles and family members, he has tried to pull it together, and he has been spending time with the baby. And this is some of the updates I have for you, is on the baby who was born without oxygen, was without oxygen for a while before the baby was actually taken to the hospital. So the baby's on life support. They say that it has no brain activities, but the father says he was holding the baby and the baby opened his eyes. So, after 2 weeks, he finally got to meet his baby. That is his baby, and they finally got to meet each other, says Emma. If I say this wrong, forgive me. Lozano. the spokesman for the family. And according to one article, it says, due to the lack of oxygen, the child has continued to struggle and remains on life support in grave condition at the hospital, according to the family spokesperson. So a pastor with Lincoln United Methodist Church in Chicago. There has been another family that has basically been pretending that they were his parents and grandparents, she says. And with this revelation of the murder and the charges against the accused, that's when Ochoa Lopez's husband rushed in to oversee the child's care belatedly, while also dealing with the tragedy of his wife's outcome. But anyways, this husband claims that the child has opened its eyes, and I have a picture here. It doesn't look like it's voluntarily the baby opened its eyes. You can tell by how the iris sets and adjusts, but it gives them a glimpse of hope. Maybe that's good, but it would be an amazing miracle if for some reason this baby suddenly pulled out of where it's destined to be now. Today I don't want to focus on the sad part of the story, but who Marleen Ochoa Lopez, who she was and who she wanted to be. Ochoa was the oldest of the 4 siblings and took on the role as caretaker for them, her family said. She had a 3-year-old son that she had on her own, and she loved dressing him up and taking him to church every Sunday. At 19, she was married. She was finishing up Latino high school and expecting a second child and she was close to her due date when she come up missing. Her family was planning a surprise baby shower for her in late April because she didn't have one for her first child. Instead, the family spent the last weeks searching for the missing Ochoa, which went missing in April the 23rd. Now, there are some talk of whether or not this family is legal to the country, but they say, we came to this country to give a good life for my daughter. And he goes on to say, the husband to Marlene, he says, but there's bad people in this country too, have taken her life. Imagine that. He doesn't understand what we've been trying to say is we have a lot of people coming over here and they're creating bad situations. You'll have to look it up. And then we already have our own people we're having to deal with that's not so good. But anyways, he continues to say she had a big future, even though she was married. She was carrying on with her studies to give a better life to her child, which that's very evident. When you're going to high school and you're pregnant, you have some goals set for you. Even though you have, you're trying to live a regular life that you're used to, and you're continuing to go to school when it's hard. You know that she probably has set some, high goals for herself. Her father says his daughter's goal was to finish high school. She wanted to one day work in the fashion industry and also had aspirations of becoming a singer. He says, music is my life and writing songs is what I wish, is what his daughter wrote on her Facebook page. Fashion design and beauty styler is what I love, but modeling is my dream. Anyways, one of her friends say, which is a family friend, remembers Lopez spending hours doing her homework and, would push off doing household chores. And I don't think she wrote this right. Instead of studying, I think she meant she pushed the, household chores off so that she could study. Okay, so this article that I'm going to share with you guys is terribly written. It's not sure what's going on, but I'm going to try my best. So Julia Rodney met Ochoa Lopez when she worked as a social worker at Sandra Elementary School, where the teen graduated 8th grade. Even at that age, Ochoa took on a mothering role, asking for help when the family was undergoing hardship and needed furniture. Rodney helped the family get a voucher at the Goodwill. So, a lot of Americans do face this kind of stuff, especially our elderly who have lived here forever and ever, worked their butts off and paid taxes. And I want people to realize this, that they cannot get this kind of help. We need to start helping our people. So it looks like she was able to navigate our country and get the help she needed. But this is the part of the article I don't understand. The two reconnected years later on Facebook and developed a relationship where Ochoa Lopez would go to her for help, and she navigated adulthood and motherhood. Ochoa Lopez, at the point, lived in Iowa, then returned to Chicago. Then Ochoa wanted to go back to school. They're not saying anything. What is the husband doing here? And what I'm hearing is the husband didn't do anything. So it looks like she was taking care of the entire family. I guess we'll find out in the near future. But anyway, she says that she was a proactive. She was a very resourceful person. Obviously, she was negotiating things for her birth, her newborn baby. She would ask for what she needed, which is, I think, a strength. It seems like to get by in this country, they really they used all the system very well. Now this is cute. This part, I like this part. So like most of our American girls, Ochoa liked to watch makeup tutorials on YouTube, practicing on her friends and taking selfies after putting together an elaborate looks. She became so skilled that she once asked to do a makeup for someone's, I don't understand what this is, so I'm going to spell it for you, Quinceanera. So I'm sure it's some kind of Mexican tradition, a coming of age celebration for teen girls. And so that's what it is. They go all out and they spend a load of money. It's kind of like when the Jewish bar mitzvah or something like that. They go all out. They go on to tell us more about her Marlene when she was 8 years old, and that she had started sneaking into her mother's makeup to put on eyeliner. Her mother says, "My daughter was a very joyful girl and had so many dreams. And now she's in peace wherever she's at and isn't suffering anymore. Only ask God, give me peace." So the family is struggling with the peace. This is probably one of the saddest stories. There's a lot of sad stories going on just in 2019. Like I said, I predicted it. That's why I started this channel. I knew that we were going to start having some serious issues with, women going missing. I knew it was probably going to be one of the worst years for women as far as that goes. And unfortunately, she was one of them. But the family, I've tried to speak with them, but they cannot speak any English at all. So we can't communicate. And that's the sad part, because I feel like communication is so important, as you guys know. So I'm not able to communicate with the family. I'm not able to get questions answered. So I have to rely on articles and, things like that. But anyways, guys, the story is still going. These people that did this to Marlene, they're facing justice, but that does not bring her back, and it doesn't help the baby heal. It doesn't give the family back, those missing pieces to their puzzle. But as you know, I wanted to make sure every video I try to find something that I can address that is, a problem in America. And I believe that this is a mental health crisis that created this. And in America, we do not have enough assistance for mental health. We have a crisis in this nation, and it's being ignored. While people are out there complaining about abortion rights, all these things that should be done as a community without fighting. It shouldn't even be a major issue. Fighting over whether or not we're going to have a wall, fighting over, silly things, while we have this huge crisis in our nation, and you don't hear about it much. You do, but not in a way that you should. So you hear about all these people, like even Hollywood stars, saying, they're suffering from depression. One of them is that SNL star, and I know you know who I'm talking about. Pete Davidson had a breakup with one of his girlfriends, and he kind of put something, out to social media that suggested he was suicidal. Now they say, make mental health awareness. But what they're not telling you is there's no help out there for people who are not movie stars, who are not wealthy. And those people are ticking time bombs to take somebody else's life, for example, this lady. But what they're not talking about with this woman is she has this Clarissa lady who took the life of this young teen, and, probably the infant as well. She was dealing with bad people on a regular basis. She's even been on a cop show. She deals with gangs. She's just got an all-around bad background. She had lost her son, and they say the natural causes, but I doubt I believe that. He was just 20 years old, and this baby that she took from this young teenager, she was naming it Xander, which was after the deceased son. So she was definitely dealing with a mental health crisis. She was delusional. She wasn't thinking, and she brought her entire family into this. There was no help for people that go through this, and it should be required, especially if you have mental health issues in your background. But guys, what we come from, we built our own communities. If they didn't give it to us, we created our own organizations, and y'all have more opportunity to do that, more than any time in American history, to create organizations to help people. It's just people don't do it. So, and then you blame the government, you blame everybody but yourselves. But you live in a community. What are you involved in? What have you done for your community? And that's what you need to ask yourself. So if you want America to come back to the way it was, the place everybody wants to live, wants to run to, chase their dreams, you better bring it back, because those things are disappearing. And it's because everybody that's coming here today are not builders, they're takers. You have to be a builder if you're a taker. You can't just take, because otherwise, if you have a pile, let's say you have a pile of cotton swabs, millions of them, and the majority of people need the cotton swab, they come and take it, but they don't put one back. Eventually, there is going to be nothing left, nothing there for anybody else. So guys, we get involved with your community. That's the best suggestion I can give you. Build a great community, because that is what made this country great, because we did that. Our generations did that. Media didn't cover that because it wasn't all, Hollywood, celebrities, money, and wealth. It was kindness, they were heroes, people that cared. They were that story about the white picket fence. People, cared about where they lived, how they lived, and what their community had. But anyways, for this family, we're going to wish them the best, because they went through hell. And imagine coming to a country that you thought was so great and having something like this happen. It's devastating, it's disappointing, and it's shameful that America has turned into this, because this is not who we were. I hope that young teen is soaring high with her angel wings, and I hope, maybe that baby can have a miracle. I've heard of miracles, and maybe if enough of us wish for it, this family will at least receive a miracle for all the heartache and pain they went through. Anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. I'm sorry I was kind of random in this one. I have a lot of heart in this one probably. And I will see you guys soon.